Helene needed answers, and Jose needed numbers he could defend to the board. And you were the analyst stuck in the middle. This is the story of QuickBytes, the company that we followed through AI 135. This video is to help you just reflect on all of the learnings you've had this semester, kind of put it into one little short video that you can use as a summary. So in week 1, Helene got the email that said the financing had been approved and they were ready to expand into Dallas. And with all the AI tools on the market, you didn't know which one to use, right? Do you use ChatGPT because it's better at number analysis? Do you use Claude because it does a little better with language? Or Gemini because it's so up to date with current events? And even though you didn't know which tool to use, you knew the framework to help yourself compare tools against each other, and that was CoStar. Understanding the context, giving the AI the objective, the style tone, understand who the audience is, and what response you were looking for. That gave you an apples to apples comparison across all three. And what you did is that you learned that it's the prompt is the strategy and the AI is just the tool. When you understand your audience and their needs, you know what tool to use. Weeks 2 and 3, we learned that not all sources are the same. We learned the crap test because we want to know, is it real? Is it just convenient or is it real? Is the source authoritative, right? Remember when we were looking at Florida, we initially got the blog post from the attorneys, and we know like that's not a real source that we can trust. But instead, when we went to the Florida legislative website, that is a source that we can trust. So that was the first thing that we learned. If it's a press release from the company, it's data, but be skeptical because it could be a biased source. If you get a McKinsey report, that's something, remember you worked on at homework, that can be a little bit more trustworthy, but when you get the actual primary source, the law, that can help you make the most informed decision. In weeks 4 to 6, we went deeper and looked at SEC reports, or Security and Exchange Commission reports. For example, we were looking at 10Ks. And what you need to do is you need to understand how to look at a 10K like a detective. The 10K isn't going to say, hey, here's how our competitors can injure us. Right? You've got to read deeper into that and not read with your eyes, but prompt the LLM to read with that skeptical eye. Because remember, the LLMs always want to please you, and our role is to bring skepticism to that analysis. Further, when you're looking at other sentiment data from customers, just the customer simply saying like, oh, delivery was fine, that's not sufficient. Now, if you get 50 customers giving you some variation of delivery was fine, that's helpful. But if it's just one, be skeptical. After we looked at the SEC documents, we went into the legal field. This is Paige's favorite. And we used VERA, V-E-R-A, as a framework to help you verify whether a regulatory claim is still true today. If you recall, California AB 5 passed in like 2020 or something. But if the LLM was only trained on that data, it wouldn't have known about the appellate court ruling that validated it. But still, past that, there's appeals in process and other legislation in the works to modify AB 5, which were the rules for independent contractors. So in that case, we definitely want to look at an LLM like Gemini, which would have the most up-to-date information. And then the other exercise we did in class, if you remember, the executive brought a news story to us and said, oh, does this change our analysis because other states are considering new legislation? And then we went and found the Bloomberg Law article that gave us clearer context because it's not in the state legislative law yet. It's not in case law yet from courts. It's literally just in the press. So it's like an emerging trend. And we have to be very careful about the source. We weren't chasing some blog that one person wrote. Instead, we found the most credible source we could, Bloomberg Law, and we incorporated that potential into our analysis. So how do we pull this into one? This was week 9, where we were working on the executive research dashboard. Remember, you heard the word dashboard and you got a little nervous. That's okay. It's not a report, but it's not a fully integrated dashboard either. But what we did was we pulled data from our different homework assignments and put them into a one-pager that we could show an executive as a way to get a snapshot knowing that if they had a question about any one of the panes, if you will, of that report, they could go deeper based on our analysis behind the scenes. But you always want to distill your work down to that one measurable number that an executive can take away. So, where have we gone in this class? We started in week 1 saying, maybe Dallas could work, right? Very similar to how Marcus started in 105 with green threads, being like, yeah, Austin will work, right? But what we did was then we did regulatory analysis, financial analysis. We looked at SEC filings. We looked at our exposure under Texas law. And we came up with a recommendation that was based in deeply rooted primary source fact. A little bit more about the dashboard. The point of this is that it's not like you're submitting a paper, right? You want to think of this as if you're standing in front of investors. This box is for the CFO. This box is for the CEO. This is for the head of product. This is for the head of legal. So this is not like an assignment. This is meant to be what you're going to experience in the real world. And even if you're not an analyst at a big company, but you're running your own business, how much more effective can you be when you can see everything in one place? So where does this leave us? You've gone through AI 105, AI 125, AI 135. You understand the foundations. You have the quantitative grounding. You have a qualitative grounding. And now you're ready to level up into the AI capstone courses, which are coming after this. And I encourage you to join those classes where we bring these together and really give you the skills that you need to be successful, whether you want to be in marketing, HR, legal, operations, etc. We're going to get really hands-on. So congratulations on making it this far, and I look forward to seeing you in future classes where we can really see you shine.